this guy had like a basement in his house, and he ended up there was like a bookcase or some like something, or like a boarded up part of the wall where like he couldn't realize it until he moved either the bookcase or the boards.
Okay.
But one day he like, let's just say it's a bookcase. One day he was like, I'm gonna see what's behind this bookcase I'm gonna move it because this isn't my bookcase. So he goes to move the bookcase, and then there are stairs leading down to like a deep, like legit cave. This is episode 79, 80, or 81 of the Scheuneman Show. Welcome to it. None of that stuff that we just did is going to make it into the podcast, just for my mental safety. I want to talk about phrogging. Do you know what phrogging is?
I've heard the term, but no recap.
Well, do you know what the term means, or have you just heard it?
I've heard it before.
I think, like, I would have thought that phrogging was something else, because I think I've heard it before too, but it was definitely not used in this way, because phrogging is one of the most fucked up things ever, and we could go deep on it.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll just start by telling you a story, telling the people a story.
It's not like leapfrog.
It's a lot different than leapfrog, my guy.
Okay.
So there was this like this fraternity of like a bunch of kids living in the same house, like probably like 2 or 3.
Okay.
And they all live in this big house, and they started to like hear footsteps at night and like hear weird things that were unexplainable, and it like freaked them out. One day they got home, and all of the cabinets in the kitchen, all of the drawers, everything was open. Like The Exorcist or whatever. Like everything was just opened, and nobody in the frat fessed up to doing it. They were like, I didn't do this. And everybody started to think that they either had a ghost or something weird was happening or somebody broke in. It was some weird shit, right?
Yeah, it's weird shit. I mean, if I walk home and my cabinets are open.
Yeah, that's all. He's making tea. Like, dude, he's like, I'm like, Bob's in the background. He just got here. I'm like, okay, could you just not use the sink or like make noise? Because even if the people can't hear it, it'll throw me off. And he's like, okay, yeah, that deal. He agreed not to. And then he started playing with a box of keys. That's also something that we cut out. He's staring at me now. And so I'm just like, yeah, just like try to like be like low key. I know that you live here and everything, but just try to chill because it'll throw me off. And he's like, all right. And then we get like 4 minutes into the podcast, and the bro is literally making tea.
Yeah.
Or what do they call that? A teapot?
Yeah.
Where it just starts like,
yeah.
like the most obnoxious noise you could possibly do. But that's cool. Anyway.
Pot of tea.
He's sure. He says not on purpose. I think it's... dude, he never makes tea.
I don't think I've ever heard him make tea.
I've never heard him make that noise or anything. That's not... Well, why does it sound like you were...
Damn,
like,
your wiener was making that noise?
You're dragging a nail across a chalkboard. It was like... Was that like... dude, I bet you can. Marquise, when you're editing, just jack up the volumes of his wiener whistle or whatever that thing is.
It was a wiener whistle.
Yeah, people are going to be so curious what the hell he showed us. Anyway, so yeah, you get home, and all the drawers are open. You're like, what the fuck? Like, it's creepy. It's weird. Nobody would even do this, like, and just leave it like that. Like, it's just weird. And so people start to think, like, oh, yeah, we have a ghost. Somebody broke in. Something's going on. This is weird. But they kind of, like, let it go. And, like, for the next month or so, they continue to hear, like, footsteps or shit will be moved around or, like, just weird shit. Like, ghostly stuff. And for some reason in this certain story, people didn't really freak out too much about it. Like, they didn't ever, like, call the cops or, like, really investigate heavily.
Yeah.
But this is a big frat house. So one day, one of the kids...
Is it only, like, a frat thing? Phrogging?
It's a fraternity, but, like, these... I think there's only, like, 3 kids that are living here.
Okay.
And no, phrogging isn't just a frat thing. So... One day, one of the kids is like, I'm really, I got to figure out what what is causing this stuff. Like, my friend thinks it's a ghost. I don't think it's a ghost. I think somebody broke in.
I think I know what it is now.
And so he goes down. He's like looking around the house, and there's parts of the house that I guess he's never even been to because it's a big place, and nobody ever goes into the basement. And so one day he's like going into the basement to like look around, and he sees like he runs into one of his roommates, he thinks, and he was like. Well, no. What happened was he goes down the steps. He's looking around. He's like, "Oh, nothing's really down here." And then behind him, he hears somebody go, "Oh, I've been wondering who's living here, or who lives here, or whatever."
Yeah.
And he was just thrown off guard and shocked. And so he turns around and he starts talking to him. And he's like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, like for some reason they had me live in the basement. Like, this is my dorm or my room that they assigned to me. And I've always wondered who my other roommates are in the rest of the house. Because he had like a separate entrance. There's a separate entrance into the basement.
Yeah.
And so the guy that was like looking down there, he's like, "Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. Like, that's weird. Like, why would they put you down here? Like, that's a shitty little setup. Like, that's not really fair. Like, we have the rest of the house and you're just confined to the basement." And so he's like talking to him for a little bit, doesn't think much of it, and then he starts to go upstairs and he runs into one of his roommates from like the rest of the house, and he's like, "Yo, I was just talking to our like basement roommate, or the guy that lives in the basement." And his roommate's like, "Bro, nobody lives in the basement. We don't have somebody living down there." And he's like, "What are you talking about? I was just talking to him. He said the school like put him there, like that's like his dorm or whatever." And he was like, "Nah, bro, nobody's out. I didn't know anything about that." And so they like checked with the school, and the school was like, "Yeah, there is not supposed to be anybody assigned to the basement living there.
Yeah.
I don't know who you talk to, but nobody's supposed to be there. It's just supposed to be you guys."
Fucking wild.
And so he's like, "What the fuck?" And so they like start to look into like who this kid is, and they can't figure it out. And I believe like as soon as they go back to talk to him, once they realized he wasn't supposed to be there, him and all of his stuff was like moved out, like he had left. And they were like, "What the fuck?" Like, it was just this was the guy that like moved all of the drawers and like was making weird noises.
Only
at night.
comes out at night when people are sleeping.
He's been living in our house without us knowing.
That's fucking scary to think about, because like you're sleeping and like you don't know what's going on, first of all. But I've definitely seen, I remember since you started describing it, I remember now I've watched videos of people who have like discovered other rooms.
Yeah, it's been like a known little social media thing where every now and then they'll be like, "This story where a guy found out to be living in someone's floorboard."
Yeah, shit like that.
So anyway, like flash forward a year, this whole thing that happened with the guy living in the basement has become like a news story. It like got a lot of attention. And these frat kids ended up calling what this, like, you know, somebody living in your house without your knowledge and like sneaking in and out and shit. They started calling it phrogging.
Wow.
And so the kid who interacted with the basement guy for the first time, this is like a year later, he'll use this story as like a, not a pickup line, but like it breaks the ice. Like he can be like, "Oh yeah, I was that kid that had the Frogger in my house."
Yeah.
And people will know what he's talking about because the story got around the whole school. And he's at the bar and he's talking to this guy and he's like, "Oh yeah." He was like, "I lived in that basement before that other guy did. And I used to be like a roommate that lived there." And I guess he like moved out at some point and like ended up giving his key to like somebody else or something, but he had an extra key and he wanted to play a prank on the house. And so he went back and he was the guy who opened up all the drawers. So there just happened to be
multiple.
There was a guy that played the prank of the drawers.
Yeah.
But the drawers being open and that weird shit happening was the reason that they looked into the guy in the basement. And there just happened to be a guy in the basement. So technically, there was like 2 people that snuck into this house and did weird shit.
Bro, that's crazy because you gotta have balls doing that. Because if You think someone will, like, if they see just some random person in their fucking place, some shit's gonna go down, bro.
That's what I'm saying. If you pick the wrong house to go and like
Frogger?
fucking put up camp in the attic of, like, dude, you could end up being somebody's science project.
Yeah, some crazy shit.
And so that's what I wanted to say that to get into it, but now I'll say the second piece is I've been watching this show, and it's all about different phrogging incidents. And it's crazy, dude. Like, there's all different examples and stories of people who were, like, living in their house, and then one day, like, oh, wow, my blanket's missing. Yeah. And then they confront their husband, and they're like, what did you do with my favorite blanket? And he's like, I didn't do anything with your blanket. And he's like, and they're like, well, what the fuck? Why are you lying to me? And they start getting into a fight, and then the next day, the blanket's back. Or, like, a person will be, like, wandering around their house, and they see, like, fucking a note written on their fridge that's like, you need to leave this home. This is my home, or something like that. And then they got a husband and kids. So inevitably they'll go like, who the fuck wrote this? And the kid gets in trouble, and then nobody fesses up to it. And then
you're grounded for a year.
Yeah, dude. And the kid ends up getting screwed over. And then inevitably they end up finding out like, oh, there's a fucking guy that lives in our floorboards, like shit like that.
That shit's wild.
So there's 20 plus stories of this happening.
I watched this one of this lady who lived in New York, and like her apartment, she it was like like an apartment, and she was like using her mirror for something, and she noticed like it would be cold just in that spot, and so she like started doing some research and actually like lifted up her mirror. And it entered, like, it was a big-ass hole in her wall that entered an abandoned apartment, like another one on the other side, bro.
I think I know what you're talking about. Like, there was, like, an empty whole apartment.
Yeah, and she goes into it, and it's just, like, lights out, you know. There's, like, some shit here and there, and she explores it and shit. And she's like, what the fuck? Like,
that's some shit you got to do at the daytime, dude. Like, I would never, if I found a whole other apartment connected to my apartment, I'm not going into that shit at night, bro.
Nah, that'd be wild.
And that makes me think of, I have another frogging thing to say, but it makes me think there was this one house that, it was like in some Midwest type place, like some suburban neighborhood, I don't know. Yeah. And this guy had like a basement in his house, and he ended up, there was like a bookcase or some shit, like something, or like a boarded up part of the wall where like he couldn't realize it until he moved either the bookcase or the boards. Okay. But one day he like, let's just say it's a bookcase. Yeah. One day he was like, I'm going to see what's behind this bookcase I'm going to move it because this isn't my bookcase. So he goes to move the bookcase, and then there are stairs leading down to like a deep, like legit ass cave, like a fucking, you know, where they got like the stalactites and all that shit, like a deep cave.
Yeah,
and it's just connected to his basement, and he ended up finding out about it and like exploring it, and this cave goes on for like 5 miles type shit.
Jeez,
we'll put a picture up if you can, Queef.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's wild, and so now he like does tours of it. It's just
I'm making money off this shit.
He's like, wow, I'm trying to ball. But bro, imagine like that seems like so cool, but at the same time so creepy. Right. Like finding some secret shit like that.
You always wonder though too, like houses are fucking there forever. Like they're 100+ year old houses. And going and investigating and finding out shit like that would be like so crazy, and like especially a whole fucking cave system. Yeah,
dude. Like, who was the guy who first found out about that or made that or what?
You think someone made that, or like
it was probably a cave, and then the first guy built like a house like right on top of the entrance to the cave and like claimed it or something. But I've always wished like I could have like a list, like a list or like a movie that could play where I could see every crazy thing that's ever happened in a house. Because like these old houses, you have to imagine, bro, there's probably been people that died there. There's probably been crazy ass parties. I mean,
there's shit where people have like opened up their walls and found money and shit, or like
that's always crazy, dude. Yeah. Like when somebody finds like $50,000 underneath their floorboards or something.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I've heard that if you don't return that or give it to the police or something, you can get like in actual trouble for that.
Yeah.
Which I think is ridiculous. But then again, if you're getting caught for not returning money that you didn't even know about in your own house, then you're a pretty dumb guy. You know what I mean? Like, I think I could get away with finding $50,000 stashed in my house and like keeping it for myself.
And how would they know it's you? Well, if someone else lived there before, and
I think the thing is like, oh, you found this amount of money and didn't return it, but we've ended up finding out that the money you're spending isn't yours. Like, I think that's how you get like charged or whatever.
yeah. But if it's cash, it's a different story, because like, unless they see like the year and the date of like the bills, and they're like, yeah, this has been.
I think it would be like if you found $50,000 and spent $20,000 and then ended up like a cop found out that you spent $20,000 of the $50,000 that you found underneath your house, then I think people are going to be mad. I don't know. But anyway, but back to Phrogging. There's this crazy one, and this is like the first episode that you like in the show. Like, there's plenty of ones to watch, so spoiler alert. But dude, this is one of the creepiest ones. There was this so it was like a mom and a husband and like the kids, and they all lived in this house. And trying to think of how it started. I think it started with like her laptop going missing for like a day. Like, she couldn't find her laptop, asks everybody, nobody says anything about it. She's like, oh, that's weird. And then the laptop comes back, and she's like, that's fucking weird. And then like more stuff would happen. Like, they would hear footsteps at like 2 a.m, or the more stuff like her blanket. I think this actually happened. Like, her blanket went missing, and then it came back. Or and then they found like a note on the fridge that was like literally said some shit like, you need to leave. This is not okay. Like, and then just gibberish, just like some like creepy stuff. Like, get out.
Yeah.
And they were like, what the fuck is going on? And then I'm trying to remember how they ended up finding it out. But oh yeah. So they left for like a trip, like a weekend trip this one time.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, we're going to get out of the house. Some weird shit's been happening. We're just going to go on this vacation. And then they come back from the vacation like a day early. And dude, when they get, like, they open up the garage to park, and everything in the garage is like spilled out. Like, everything's moved around and things are like just spilled onto the floor.
Why don't they get cameras at that point?
Exactly. But then this is when everything comes to a head.
Yeah.
Because like the garage opens, they see everything's just spilled out. They're like, what the fuck? They can't even park. Okay. So they park on the driveway, and they go to open the door, and a fucking guy is behind the door. And when they open it, he's like, this isn't your home. Like, you guys can't come in. And they're like, what the fuck? Yes, it is. And they start like forcing it open type shit. And eventually they get it open, and they're like talking to him, and he's like just fucking crazy. Like, he's half naked, and he's just standing there, and I think he's like wearing the mom's underwear type shit. Like, real weird.
So are these like stories? Like, they're telling this story,
this
or
is
there's
like true
video?
And sometimes
like, they have actual
with certain episodes, you'll get footage of it. Like, one of the episodes, I think you do like there's a video of the guy like coming down from the attic or whatever. So like it's not just them talking about it. There's always at least a couple things where you can actually see it, like either footage or a picture or something. So they eventually
get the door open.
They get the door open, and they're like talking to him, yelling at him. They call the police, and he ends up like walking out into the front yard, and then the police come and they arrest him. And then they like end up finding out that he was like, I think in their attic. And while they had been gone, like, he had taken like their laptop and done a bunch of research on their laptop, and like,
so they went through like the history and found
they went through the history, and they found like he was looking up like how to remove limbs and like how to do sex change operations, and he had written like this manifesto about living in these people's houses. and like he was calling them like the omnivores and saying that he needs to like purge the demons out of these people, and like he was going to like start a new life in their home, like crazy shit. And the whole house was like torn up except for the kids' rooms. Like the kids' rooms were like all neat and like set the fuck up, and he had like actually cleaned them up more. So I think they ended up finding out in like this manifesto that he wrote that he was gonna like do some crazy shit to the parents and then like keep the kids. But he was like this insane surgeon dude that had been living in their house for like 6 months. But like, bro, they were so close to this guy just completely doing some horror movie shit.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many things I want to say. Like, first of all, just waking up and seeing a guy standing over you with like a hacksaw, being like,
I don't even think I could sleep after I hear footsteps. So I don't understand that.
Yeah.
Part. Like if I'm hearing footsteps, I don't know, bro.
You hear so many stories about these people like, oh yeah, I heard thumping at 2 a.m, and then I like walked around the house and I saw a figure pacing by my window, and then I went back to bed, and it's been really freaking me out ever since. It's like, no, dude, the second any of that shit happens, I'm like doing something. Like I'm either gonna leave or I'm gonna like find out who the fuck is in the house. Like,
yeah,
I couldn't just sit with that. Like that's too fucked.
that is too fucked. I don't even think I don't know. Like I definitely would look at places I have not been in the house before, especially.
That's the other thing is like, bro, I feel like you got to have a baller ass house for somebody to be even able to live in your house without you knowing.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy. Like it's usually like attics, and sometimes in the show it'll be like
Well, basement attics or
a
like
guy
secret
like
rooms.
living in your. Oh, there was one where he was just literally sleeping in their closet, like their bedroom closet that they just never used, and he was like sleeping there for like 4 days. It's so nuts, bro.
That is nuts.
And like, I don't know how you could not know about somebody living in your house. And that's also like one of the scariest things ever, as somebody just like, because they're not stealing your shit. They're not like trying to kick you out of the house. Like it takes a special kind of crazy person to go in your house and be like, I'm just going to live here.
Well, like they got to be eating and stuff somehow, so aren't they stealing
Yeah.
food and shit?
Yeah.
Like that?
And so, well, some of them will leave and then come back. Or some of them will, like eat the food and stuff. There was this one guy who was living in the attic, and he never left the attic. So he made like a special way to where he could like shit in the corner of the room, and then like move the floorboard out. So like the floorboard would like go out and like outside of the house and like spill over into like the gutters. So he would like pee and poop and just like push the floorboard out of the fucking house, and then like it would just spill outside. Dude, it was nuts.
Bro, that's wild.
And I can't even imagine. Like it would be so hard to even feel safe after that.
What about people like with barns and shit? Like, you think?
Or even like, what if you have like a bunch of land and even somebody
That's what I'm saying.
camping on your land? Like, imagine just like one day you wake up and there's just a fucking tent at the end of your yard. And
Would you
it's,
go investigate it?
dude, of course you have to.
Yeah.
I would if I don't have a gun, I'm getting a gun, and then once I have the gun, I'm gonna be like, bro, you cannot camp here. This is not camping grounds. But yeah, I highly recommend the show. It's on Hulu, and they just talk about all these different stories of people. And it happens enough times that there's a whole show about it.
Called Phrogging, or
Yeah, it's called like the Tales of Phrogging or something. It's
okay.
Phrogging, and it's just I can't even believe it, because I feel like everybody's seen at least once on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, like one of those stories where fake or real, it'll be talking about like, oh yeah, this one time somebody saw like muddy footprints in their bedroom and they didn't know where they came from, like.
Yeah.
But to actually hear the true stories, like from beginning to end, is wild.
I mean, I understand the kid parts. Like, you think your kid was doing like up to something, and that's probably why. Because there's kids, but like
Yeah.
if they're telling you no, you got to believe them to an
Well, that would be my
extent.
only issue. Is like I have a bit of trust issues. So if there are other people, like kids, for example, living in the house, and like one of the things that I find that seems off is like fucking some like muddy footprints in my bedroom that I didn't make.
Yeah.
Or something going missing. I would ask the kids, and then even them saying no, I don't know if I would immediately be like, it definitely wasn't them. You know what I mean?
I'm getting the measuring. I'm like, let me see your shoe. I'm measuring this shoe,
Yeah.
and then I'm gonna measure the footprint. If this shit don't matter,
Yeah,
add
dude,
it up.
I'm really Sherlock Holmes this.
Oh hell yeah!
Because, I mean, dude, this is not super related, but kind of. It made me think of it, like, back to my trust issues. Like, there was this one time I was living at my girlfriend's house, like, my ex now, but, like, at the time we were dating, obviously. I was living there, and I had this lockbox. And in the lockbox, I had, like, weed, money, I think, like, a wallet and a couple phone cases, just, like, random shit mixed in with, like, also, like, savings, like, cash savings, and then some weed.
Yeah.
And like shells and stuff. And so I had this lockbox that I would keep there, and one day it just completely went missing. And like I came home from work and it was just gone. And I was like, what the fuck? Because now, at the time I already had trust issues, but I was like, dude, this is going to be so difficult because I either could have misplaced it or one of her brothers could have taken it, or
And
like,
you don't want that guilty act of
like
putting it on someone,
Yeah.
accusing someone, and then
Yeah, exactly.
Then be like, yo, like you're pissing me off now, like.
So this is actually insane. Like, this story is nuts. So I'm like, what the fuck? This is weird. Like, and I need it. Like, it has money in there, and at the time I was a big stoner, and it had all of my weed in there. So I was like, I want to find it. If I can find it, I'm gonna try and find it. So I start like looking around and asking around, and I'm like, hey, have you seen this? Have you seen that? And I'm pretty sure at one point, like, I asked her stepdad. I was like, have you seen my black lockbox? And I think he was like, I think I saw her brother with it. Like, I think he like went. I think he said he was like downstairs right after you guys had left for work, and then like was down there for a little bit, and I didn't know why. Like, in your guys' room.
Yeah.
And it was weird to me, but I haven't seen it personally. And I was like, okay, well, that's weird. And then so we start asking her brother, and we're like, hey, yeah, her stepdad said that he saw you go into our room right after we left for work. What's the deal? And then he was like convincing enough of being like, no, I literally have no idea where that shit is. I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I didn't even go into your guys' room. And we're like, what? This is so weird. And we like looked all around, nowhere else to look. And so we start, I don't know how we got to this, but eventually we were like, you know what? Like, everybody's car is parked outside. Let's just go, like, shine a flashlight through people's windows and see if we can see if it's in there. And so we go to her brother's car, shine a light through. We don't see anything. We're like, okay. He says it doesn't have it. We've went through his room. He like doesn't seem to have it. We go to her mom's car. She doesn't seem to have it. That I'd never really thought it would be her mom. And then we go up to her stepdad's truck.
Oh, bro, no.
The same one that says, oh, yeah, her brother went downstairs into your room, and I think he might have it. We go in and shine a light through his truck, and it's sitting on the fucking floor. And I'm like, no fucking way. Like, we caught this guy actually red-handed.
Yeah.
Like, what a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
And, like, so we eventually, like, get the keys to his truck and, like, take it out. And, dude, I, like, at the time, I was, like, kind of living there. So it was a really weird situation. I was like, but this guy just, not only did he lie to my face, not only did he steal my shit for no reason,
Yeah.
but he also tried to pin it on practically his son. You know what I mean? Like, it's not blood related, but, like, that's, like, your wife's son.
Oh, it's so crazy.
Yeah, and he tried to, like, put it on other people. And, bro, like, I'm just like, you're fucking nuts.
I had something like that happen with my step-pops, actually, bro. I was young. I was, like, 15, 16. I fucking ended up getting a BB gun. It was a handgun. And it was, like, the high-tech ones that, like, actually, like, pull back and shit.
Yeah.
And, like, shoot multiple.
It's not just like a $10 Dick's Sporting Goods one.
Exactly. And I mean, like, I've hunt and stuff like that, so I have guns all through the house and stuff like that. And I don't even think I have my personal gun yet, but it was just weird. I don't know why, but it came up missing, and so I'm like, what the fuck? Like, who took my shit? And I asked, the family, and they're both like, no, like, this didn't happen, and whatever. Like, one of your friends probably took it. So I'm like,
fuck your friends.
What am I? Like, which one of my friends would think? Like, I would see them because my friends, they come over.
And then we hang out. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
The only time is when I go to the bathroom. So it was like convincing enough. Maybe I did something. I went and got food or something. One of my friends took it, and I'm like, what the fuck? So he ended up getting this new safe from work at the time. It's a fucking fireproof safe, bro. It's one of those big, hefty ones. It takes at least 3-4 guys to carry, and I mean, like, I'm no fucking coder. I don't know how to fucking hack or...
You're not a lock picker?
Yeah, lock pick. Yeah, that fucking word. I'm not able to do that shit. I don't know what happened, bro, but they were off at work, and I was alone at home, and I'm like, dude, there's no way. Like, I go up in the room, and I'm looking at the safe, and I'm like, it's got to be in there.
I wish I had an X-ray.
I need to know what's in there. And I don't know if... It just wasn't. It was shut all the way, but I don't know if it was like you have to like twist it again to make sure, like like that type of deal or anything. But even then, I was fucking with it before I even go to open it. So I'm like, I put my ear up to it, and I'm like holding on to the
you're trying to hear it go.
Yeah, I'm holding on to the thing like. The door, like, to open it,
the
handle, and I'm just twisting away, listening to it, and I'm like, that's the spot. I twist back.
Dude,
like,
you were really trying.
That's the spot, and it opens.
Bruh.
It fucking opens, bro, and right there's the fucking gun.
Oh, my God.
But the magazine was gone. I still haven't found the magazine till this day.
Have you confronted him about it?
Yeah, I told him. I was like, dude, I found the freaking gun in the safe.
Yeah, what was his reasoning?
I don't remember fully. Oh, he thought I was going to be stupid. He thought it was a real gun, and I was going to be stupid and just go out and, like, shoot it. Like,
oh, my God. He thought you were going to get into trouble with it. But why you got to lie about it?
Exactly.
Because you could just easily pull the, like, parent card. And then also, like, I want to know, like, did you get lucky and, like, it was just not locked properly? Or did you, like, really fucking put your all into like picking this lock, and you actually got lucky enough to like get it?
I'm thinking honestly it wasn't fully locked or something, and so when I went to hit the handle, it was just open, and I didn't realize. So while me fucking with it,
it
just
Well, dude, nothing really feels better than catching somebody in the act like that, because you're like, holy shit, like, because you don't usually when people lie to you or steal from you, you don't usually get the opportunity to like catch them or prove them wrong. But like, bro, every now and then you get the opportunity to like really find somebody fucking up. And it feels like, obviously it sucks that they did it, but it feels so good to be like, you're a liar, dude. Like, I caught you. And it's like a gift from God, because like I forget what we did when we found that box in his truck.
Yeah.
I think we did like confront him about it. And he was like one of those immature ass motherfuckers that like even after being confronted found a way to just like shrug it off. Like, oh
yeah.
Like it was just not, but dude, I was just so happy to like not only have my stuff back, but to be like, yeah, dude, I found out that you can't be trusted and you just stole my shit. And then also, like, imagine being, like in your situation, imagine being, like, a parent that's going to be, like, taking your kid's shit and then lying about it. Or in my situation, like, bro, your daughter's boyfriend, you're going to go and, like, steal his money and then, like, lie to it.
There's a reason. I feel like he did it for a reason, because he knew, like, something was in it that he didn't want in the house or something like that.
A little backstory. Like, this motherfucker is, like, really petty. And he was also heavy into drinking at the time. And, like, Yeah, I think maybe he might have had a hunch that there was weed in it, but at the same time, like they knew we were smoking. Like every now and then, it was one of those situations where, like on a good day, they would be like, "Yeah, sure, you can smoke in your room" or something. But like, so it wasn't no like big surprise that we were smoking weed. But like, I genuinely, looking back on it, think the type of person he was, I think he was just like drunk and bored one day and was like, I'm going to fuck with him. Like he thinks he can just be chilling in my crib. Like, no, I'm going to fuck with this shit.
Yeah.
And then his dumbass put it like right in eyesight in his truck. It's parked in the driveway. And it's like, bro.
Isn't it crazy though that something like clicked in your head and was like, we're going to search the cars?
Yeah,
Out of all places in this fucking house, you're like, let's go look.
I'm so happy because if he was kind of smart, I think he also hid it from like her mom and like everybody. I think this was only his little game that he was playing because he could have, if he would have just put it like under their bed, I would have never found it.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like they had a gun safe, he could have put it in there. He didn't. He put it in the car, and I was able to find it. And dude, I'm just so. That was one of the best feelings I've ever had, just being able to be like, yeah, you're stupid. But yeah, like the frogging shit is just so nuts because it's like it's hard to even put into words how insane that is. And then also, like you said, like picking the wrong house could really just end your life right there.
Yeah. Because like you gotta have balls to fucking do that shit.
Yeah, dude. Because I mean, Cole, he was just on the other like a week or two ago. Who knows? And if you go and try and live in his apartment, he will just blow your head off. And like it's plenty of people would do that. But based on what I've seen in the show, it's always just really crazy people. Like they're not like functioning human beings. Like they're mentally disabled.
Well, you said the one guy was a surgeon, didn't you?
He seemed to be because he was like doing research on how to perform surgeries. He wanted to do like a sex change operation on the mom.
He wanted to be a surgeon.
Yeah, I don't know. I had I don't think they outright said it, but I had a theory that like he used to have some sort of medical career and then his life like fell apart and then he was also like looking into like removing limbs.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, and yeah, I can't. Trying to think like if somebody were to live in my house, where would it be? It would probably. I think we do have an attic, but like.
I mean, we go every part of that. I mean, I've definitely already been besides the attic.
Yeah, I'm also wondering like, how does somebody get the idea where they're like first they see a house and then they're just like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill here.
You know what's fucking dope though?
What?
If you know that area that we recorded the first promo video, like with the mattress and stuff. If we put a big ass like bookshelf in front of there with the opening door, make it a secret room.
Oh yeah, that would be sweet. When I'm like super rich, I think that. Nothing is cooler than like a secret entrance.
Oh yeah,
like
panic
a little
room.
secret door or something.
Yeah.
Maybe we could just buy that house with a cave. Because a secret entrance to that, and then just throw parties and bangers down there. Because that would be sick.
That would be sick.
You just like raves down in the cave. Cave rave.
Cave rave.
Ain't nothing better than that.
No. Fucking earlier today. I was like moving wood for my work, bro. I like had a small, not as big piece of wood in my hand, but I had like 3 others in my hand. Mm-hmm. And I went to pick up a fucking piece, the other piece that was like left because I didn't want to drop these off, come back and pick up a singular fucking piece of wood. The smaller one ended up rolling down my arm, bro, as I'm picking up this bigger piece, and it smashed my thumb in between it. I have a big ass bruise under my fucking fingernail, and it hurt.
Dude, have you ever lost a fingernail?
I lost a toenail one time when I was swimming. I was doing cartwheels into the pool, and I kicked the fucking edge, dude, and it just...
That's one thing I've never experienced, and I never want to experience it because it just sounds like the worst thing. Like, it's such a simple thing, but like like, there's a reason why when somebody's getting tortured, one of the things they'll do is just remove your fucking fingernails.
I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's horrible.
It was weird though. Like I didn't feel the pain at first, but like a minute kicked in and it was just
Yeah, when you get a real gnarly cut or a slash or a stinging type of thing, it's weird because your body doesn't let you feel it right away. Have you ever like looked at a wound and it hasn't even started bleeding yet, and you're like looking at it? It's usually like white skin when it gets ripped off.
Yeah.
And then you're looking at, and then blood starts to rise to the surface, and then like 30 seconds later, it like all kicks in. You're just like, oh,
That reminds me, bro.
this sucks.
I was riding a bike when I was younger, and the pedals had like not spikes, but they had little fucking metal things sticking out of them, so your shoe would grip to it better.
Yeah.
I was doing like bunny hops or something. My foot slipped and I shinned it, bro.
It was on the spikes.
Yeah, it was deep. Like it was like you could see inside, like the white that you're talking about in the beginning.
Yeah,
it didn't hurt, bro, and it started gushing, and it was just like the biggest shinner I've ever fucking had, bro.
Dude, I also think about like when we were kids, we used to like skinning your knees and shit like that was like a weekly occurrence.
Yeah, because we skated and stuff.
Yeah, skated and running around the playground and shit, but like
it's like common.
Now it's like way more rare. I don't like. There's not much to say about that, but it just feels weird how often we would be bleeding as kids.
Yeah,
and then like now it's just like I feel like skinning your knee now would actually be like a thing, but like back then it was like, oh fuck it, whatever. Yeah. I used to have a bad habit of like I would like skin my knee and then. It's so gross talking about it, but like I would pick the scab. Dude, my favorite thing was when you'd pick a scab and then you make it like you squeeze it a little bit.
Ugh, bro.
I'm sorry, but like
I remember you would make like dope ass pictures out of it or something like that.
I'm trying to remember what you're talking about. It's in like the far like
it was like not all the time.
Back of my memory. I don't know. Well, I know my dad would like injure himself like seriously, and every time he would be seriously injured or bleeding a lot, he always wanted to send me a picture of it. Like there was a time he was doing yard work and like a stick went through his hand, and like his first thought was like, I'm gonna send a picture to Julian.
Oh, bro.
But no, I would like pick the scab, and then it was so fucking it was so why am I blanking on this word? It was just so nice to see this. You would squeeze it, and then when the blood comes up in separate dots, you know what I'm talking about? Like if it's like a big scab and you squeeze it, and then like one dot, and then a dot over here, and then a dot over here, and then I don't know why that shit made me hard. But bro, dude, can you cry on command? What do you think? Like. I was watching a movie.
Yes and no.
I was watching a movie the other day, and I was like, "Dude, what do you think these people have to think about?"
Oh, they gotta
when
think
they
about horrible things.
Command? Yeah,
you gotta make yourself depressed in a second.
Yeah, and I think actors will really like convince themselves of every negative thought is like real right before they shoot like a sad scene.
Yeah,
because, dude, it's just funny to watch a movie where someone's crying and then like just think about the personal ass shit that they're thinking about. Like they're like, oh, my dad doesn't love me, and
I don't know. There's gotta be something like you ever get.
Girls seem to be way better at it.
You get something in your eye and then you're just like tearing up or something like that. Like you throw some water in there and then it makes your eyes burn.
I think they're able to actually emotionally make themselves cry.
Yeah.
Have you ever called a girl on fake crying? Like when they were really trying to use it to their advantage and you can just tell it's fake and you call them on it? Have you ever? They get so mad, but then they'll laugh about it. Because like I've been in a situation where like I don't know why, but like so the girl starts crying like because I said something or I don't know what. And then I'm like, dude, this is fake. Like you're faking it right now. And for a split second, they try to go with the lie, and they're like, "How dare you think that I'm making this up?" But then if you keep with it and you just continue to be like, "No, like I know you well enough to know that you're faking crying right now," then they'll like laugh it off. They'll be like, "Shit, Like, my bad. But then, like, just them laughing makes it hard to go back to the fact that, like, oh, yeah, it's really kind of fucked up what you just tried to do there.
Yeah.
You really just tried to, like, cry your way out of a bad situation. And then, like, once you got caught in the lie, it's like, oh, it's funny, isn't it? It's like, you kind of tried to just get in my head right there. Like,
Yeah. I don't know. That's fucked up.
what is fucked up? What they did or what
Yeah,
I did?
what
Yeah.
they did.
No, because trying to cry your way out of a situation, like, that's got to stop after you're exiting elementary school.
Yeah, of course.
Or halfway through elementary school. I don't know. But what would be the first thing that you would do if, like, right now, out of the clouds, like 30, 40 UFOs just came out the sky, and let's just say you see them do, like, at least a few fucked up things, like either, like, shoot a fucking
zaps,
beam at a
yeah.
building or abduct a car or, like, suck some
think
stuff up.
that's-
Like, what are your first few moves? Like, really? Like, they're not
It's hard to
attacking
say
us
my
right
first few moves, but first few oh my gosh moves. But I would definitely be like in the zone of like this is apocalypse is about to fucking happen. So I'm probably gonna just start rounding some shit up, get the gear and get whoever's closest to me and be like, yo, we need to fucking go and figure this shit out.
Yeah.
'Cause government's gonna start fucking
shutting shit down.
all this shit.
If they don't just completely torch the whole world.
Yeah.
See, because with aliens, I start to think, like,
This doomsday preppers right here.
it's probably going to be really bad within 24 hours. And if it's aliens, they probably have technology to just completely overpower
for
us.
sure.
So, like, part of me is like, I almost don't even want to think about, like, survival of it. I just want to think about, like, okay, how can I enjoy the amount of time that I have left? So, like, there's a part of me that's like, bro, I would just, like, hit up a liquor store.
Oh my gosh.
Get what you can. Hit up a pharmacy. You know, just, like, a dispensary. And then just get with, like,
Get
the
fucked up
people
and
that
run
you
out
love,
butt naked.
Get the family. Get the friends. And then just go to the woods. And then just party until shit happens. I don't know. Because if aliens invade, like, we're so truly fucked. Because it depends on whether or not they want to still use the planet or the people on it, like,
Yeah.
for their advantage, which I think they probably wouldn't. I think if they're ever going to, because aliens are going to be smart enough they don't really even have a reason to come over here and fuck with us because they know that we're, like, a lower life form than they are if they're able to get here and we're not able to get there. So part of me is like, they probably wouldn't even come here. But if they are here, they're either going to, like, enslave the race or they're going to join, like, let us, like, join the whole group and it's going to be like a peace offering. Or they're going to, like, harness the entire energy of the planet and just fucking absorb, like, just disintegrate the planet and then take what they can.
Yeah.
So if it's like, if it's either of the negative outcomes, there's nothing we can really do to stop it. We can just slow it down, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Unless it's like some science bullshit where they're, like,
But if they're
allergic to
smart-
water.
If they're smart, it's like, well, will our stuff or our technology or even hell, like guns or anything be
Able to stop them?
be a way to
Well,
stop?
that's the thing is, like, I bet, yeah, maybe a gun could stop an alien on foot, but I think they're smart enough that they wouldn't even ever have to be on foot to where they would get shot. And their ships probably are bulletproof as fuck. Mm-hmm. I've heard stories about, like, certain alien crashes, like in Roswell, which is, like, a famous alien crash story, where, like, apparently a UFO crashed down and then people saw it and saw the wreckage. And then the next day, the government was like, nah, that was a weather balloon. But there are reports from that of people saying that they went and, like, fucked with some of the wreckage. And apparently they would, like, try to, like, crumple, for example, like, they crumple a piece of the ship that fell down. You'd crumple it, and then it would go back to its original form, just like nothing. Which is, like, it doesn't make any sense.
No, yeah.
Like, how can you do that? And I say this because, like, that's an example of their technology being like out of this world. Like we wouldn't be able to fuck with it in any way. So the whole reason I asked that question is like me personally, I don't think that there's any point in trying to like, oh, I gotta get ammo and I gotta get like a good bunker or like yeah, maybe you want to get a safe place to where you can chill for the longest. But my main concern is probably just gonna be like, let's make the most out of the next few hours that we have, because if aliens are either gonna leave us alone, let us join their fucking group, and be like, hey, welcome to the like universe collective, whatever, or they're just gonna completely wipe us out. So if they're trying to wipe us out, I'm just gonna try and wipe myself out with a good time.
I guess. I mean, this is the best way to put it.
But I think if I was trying to survive, I've always had the same kind of game plan of like, just because of the people I know, I would get my friends, like I would get you, I would get Cole, I would get whoever, get like Bob, like whatever family I could, Bob, Colin type shit, Mom, if you're listening. And then I would probably go to West Virginia because it's the closest option where like you can get to the middle of nowhere. And
I think that'd be the best. Is just getting to nowhere.
Yeah, like get somewhere where it's like, bro, you're gonna have to come down in these woods.
Yeah.
And I got guerrilla warfare, motherfucker. But then they could just burn the woods down. You know what I mean? Like it could get real. But take aliens out of it. If it was like governments invading, like if China came over here and tried to like wage an all-out warfare, or if I don't know, whatever happens other than aliens, something we could actually fight, then West Virginia seems like a good move. Because, dude, China doesn't know about these woods. They don't know about the holler. They don't know where to go. They don't know how shit runs. Like, I feel like you could set up something where
it would definitely be the cities first, and then
you got to get out the city. If it's the end of the world, first move, get out the city. Because unless you're really that motherfucker that thinks you're going to be the guy that's going to be able to come out on top and loot the shit, then get out of the city. Because that's what it's going to become. And the city, just people are going to be trying to grab everything they can.
Yeah.
And people are going to get smoked in the process. And it's not going to be safe. And also, traffic jams out the ass. Mm-hmm. So get out as fast as you can, unless you're going to be that guy that's like waging war on the banks or the gun stores and whatever.
At that point, banks aren't even going to be a thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. Is there's going to be so many dumb motherfuckers who are like, when this shit blows over, I'm going to be the guy that robbed the bank and has all the money. No, motherfucker. When shit's really going down and like the end of the world type apocalypse stuff is happening, I'm not even going to be concerned about cash. Like that, nah, fuck that. Because, no.
The thing that would worry is not knowing, like, you got to know a lot, to, like, farm and make sure you're not going to eat the wrong thing out in the woods or some shit. And
you're going to want supplies and weapons and people.
Yeah.
But money should not even be a thing.
No.
But, yeah, dude. Also thinking about like the end of the world makes me think like, dude, I need to know way more than I do.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like, there's so many survival things that's like people know, and it's just like I don't know that. Like I have like a general idea of like what to do and not to do, but I don't know some like crazy fucking Navy SEAL shit. Like, I don't have a water purifier. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like little things. Not little things. Like it's big things, but
that's
things like
super
that.
Important, dude.
Yeah, it's important as fuck.
When I was backpacking, I realized, like, dude, you could not really do this if you don't have a water purifier.
But even then, you were told that there was still, even with the water purifier, you got sick as fuck, and so you got to worry about those things too. Because if you get sick as fuck, there's no medical. To help you or anything. You got to figure it out. And
yeah, you got to have some willpower. There's going to be a lot of motherfuckers who just straight up give up Cause dude, like certain people can't even make it, like do a couple miles walking, and those people when the end of the world comes, like imagine them. They're just gonna be like, "Fuck, I'm just gonna chill." Yeah. Those are gonna be the people that just like drive their car off a cliff.
Fuck.
We can get away from the end of the world. It's kind of the end of the world related. The alien mummy we were talking about the other day?
Yeah.
This information came out at the same time everything else did, so it's not necessarily new, but I didn't know it, and it kind of has something to do with what you said about like how they should just do like DNA testing and like, do research on what's inside the like mummification, whatever, like see what's under there.
Yeah.
Apparently they did. And they're saying that one of the quote unquote aliens has like eggs, like it was like pregnant or whatever, like has eggs inside of it. Yeah, which is
what?
That's like freaky because like what if the eggs are still like alive?
And what human has eggs?
Yeah, well, it's definitely not a human.
Oh yeah,
but yeah, right. Like if this scientist that did that research or did those tests has any idea what they're talking about, then that's kind of creepy. Like, this motherfucker has eggs. And of course aliens are egg-laying motherfuckers. Of course they would be. I don't, like, have you ever seen Alien? Like the movie?
No.
The movie?
Yeah.
Dude, how they, like, implant inside of humans and then, like an alien, I forget exactly how it works, but they'll like a little worm motherfucker will like insert itself into your body, and then a couple hours later, it's fucking shooting out of your chest.
Oh,
it's a huge motherfucker. Like,
yeah.
So I don't necessarily feel too good thinking about aliens reproducing. Like thinking back on that, like I don't want one of those alien eggs
2 or
around
3
me.
things just shooting out your chest.
Dude, fuck that. Fuck aliens, dude.
Damn, dude. It's so funny how we talk about aliens. Or not funny, but it's so crazy how aliens get brought up, though, is the main thing.
Well,
what?
Why do you think that the government is being so upfront about the information that they used to deny all the time?
Well, I heard, though, and what? Was it after or before COVID, they were going to come out and tell...
It was around that COVID time they were starting to say like, "Hey, they've released like a headline where it was like, yeah, we're about to release like all this information."
Area 51 or whatever.
Well, they said they were going to, and then nobody ever did. Yeah. But also another rumor is like Area 51 isn't even the place anymore. There's a new place where like they do the new research that they're doing, and it's not Area 51 because too many people know about that shit.
Yeah,
but. There's like a special plane, like if you're going into the airport to fly to where Area 51 is, there's like a special plane that all the workers go on to get there that nobody else goes on. Like that'll fly you into the area of the base. Like there's like at an airport, there's planes to go everywhere else and like certain kinds of planes for everything else, but
they have this one.
The workers for Area 51 go on a certain plane that only goes to Area 51. Wow. It's fucking weird shit, bud.
Well, there's a lot of stuff they don't want people to see and stuff like that.
So. Yeah.
And that's well known. I mean, a lot of you get shot crossing over there, don't you?
The fucking jewel just stuck to the mic. Yeah, you definitely get shot. There's with the Bob Lazar story, he was like filming their test flights of these UFOs, and which is just crazy by itself. But apparently him and his friends were like out there in like an RV just filming and like barbecuing, just chilling, watching the test flights. And then all of a sudden, like one of them, I think like dropped a flashlight or something. And like when they went to go reach it, they saw like little green dots, and they like picked the flashlight up and turned it on, and like there was just fucking SUVs and like soldiers just all around them, just like, sup, you guys need to come with us.
Yeah,
like they were just watching them at night, like in the dark, and they didn't even see them there. And then as soon as like a light got shined on them or whatever, they realized they were there, and they're like, "Yeah, what's up? We've been looking at you for the past hour." So if you go and try and fuck with Area 51, you're gonna get sniped or something.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be all bad.
That stuff is that's no go. I know.
Don't go to Area 51, folks. What are we at?
An hour.
All right, we'll call that an episode. We could, because, bro, 50 Cent's been changing shirts with some sort of magical device on tour. Have you seen that?
No.
One thing he's doing on tour is, like, he'll be performing, and then, like, the lights will flash, and then he's wearing another shirt.
Isn't like 2 shirts over your top?
I think, yeah, he's wearing, like, 3 shirts, and then he has some sort of device that, like, rips the shirt off, and then now he's wearing a different shirt, and then he rips another shirt off. It's weird. That's why I'm saying call it an episode, because I don't know what the fuck to say about that. It's strange that it's a cool little gimmick, though.
Yeah, it's
that you can change his outfits.
Kind of crazy how they can make it so pitch black that you can't see.
Well, I think it's more the fact that, like, he has something on his back or something that rips the shirt off in, like, a second. Like, even if the lights were on, it would look crazy because his shirt just fucking peels off and then he's wearing another thing. I made some baller-ass... we made Philly cheesesteaks, but with Wagyu beef patties.
Oh, Wagyus.
Dude, it was so fucking good. We got, like, a big loaf of garlic bread, but like legit garlic bread, like toast type shit.
Yeah.
And then we got Wagyu beef and like made all the Philly cheesesteak ingredients and then just ate that. This shit was so amazing. And
you
then
like
we bought.
Venison?
Huh?
You like venison?
I would love to have venison. I've only had it like a couple of times.
Dude, I got some like venison jerky. It's so fucking homemade venison jerky.
I'm not a huge jerky guy, but if it's venison, I'll try it.
Oh, it's so good.
I should have gotten the voodoo.
Oh, you should
We
have.
still have to try the voodoo. I think it's Starburst because I tried it like a week ago.
Yeah.
Because it's supposed to be some popular candy.
We still haven't tried the very first one either, which we need to find.
What, candy corn?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because that was what, like 2019.
Yeah, that's when they started, wasn't it?
Yeah. What was I gonna? Oh yeah, and then after the fucking the Wagyu Philly cheesesteaks, which were wild, we made we got rigatoni noodles. I think like the big circular thick boys. Drenched those bitches in vodka sauce, which is so good.
It's like a panini or panette, whatever the fuck it's called.
Whatever. And then we got shrimp. And then we cooked all that shit. Oh, it was so good. I ate so much. And then I had like a dirty Shirley or like 2 or 3, whatever. And I went into a full food coma and just like fell asleep at Cole's house. Like, I was so fucking out of it. I was so tired because we also bought snow crab. And we still need to make that. That might be either tonight or tomorrow or something. But I still got like a whole fucking crab at Cole's house that I gotta make.
Crab sounds so good. I'm gonna eat crab in a minute.
It's so good. I never understand people who don't like seafood. It makes no sense to me because it's so good. It's just
It is so good.
It's meat from the other parts of the world. It's wet meat.
Ocean's a different story, though.
I know, but bro, it tastes so good. Like, here's the thing. I think the people who don't like seafood, they don't not like it because they tried it and they don't like the taste. I think they don't like it because they don't like the idea of it and they're
Or
scared
maybe
to
they
try
got
it.
someone cooked it wrong and wasn't good the first time.
Yeah, but I think most of the people who are like, I don't like seafood. It's like, it's females who look at it.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, that crab looks weird. I don't want to eat that. And then they don't try it. But, like, if you tried fucking calamari or if you tried crab or lobster or whatever, my brain does not comprehend how you can be like, oh, I don't like that flavor.
I don't like fish, but I'll eat shrimp, lobster, crab.
See, that is
calamari.
the thing, is I'm not a huge fish fan, but I also wouldn't say I don't like it. Because, like, if I go to a restaurant and they're like, hey, can we prepare you this really good fish
I'll try it.
entree? I'll try it and I'll probably like it. But, yeah, I prefer other seafoods other than fish, which sounds crazy.
Yeah.
But, like, the exotics of the sea.
Well, I like tuna.
Tuna is a whole different... That's also a fish. That's the fish we saw kill itself the other day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, tuna's all right. I'll take tuna in a sushi roll.
Oh, sushi, though, it's a whole nother ballgame. I love sushi.
I love sushi too, but people are also terrified of sushi.
But I also get, like, crab sushi.
Sometimes I've been like, I took this one girl to get sushi one time, and I ordered like a good roll, and then she was like, "You guys have shrimp?" And I was like, "I hope you know, like, you're not getting sushi when you order shrimp.
No.
This is not sushi."
Oh, we ate raw salmon belly.
Oh, salmon belly is good as fuck.
It was good.
It's just like, I think it would be really nice with like a good sauce, but like,
For sure.
we just ate straight up salmon belly, and it's better than you would expect.
Oh, yeah.
They just get like a nice little, like a little torch, like something you would do a dab with, and they just sear it a little bit. And then there's like a little sliver of rice, and then on top of that has a fucking sexy little piece of salmon belly.
Yeah.
And that's fucking sick, isn't
So
it?
good.
It's been episode 79, 8, 81, 80, one of those episodes today, The Scheuneman Show. I hope you enjoyed it. Go watch fucking Phrogging on Hulu. It's a good time. I'm going to watch some more episodes. Maybe next episode I'll talk to you about it.
Get into it.
Next episode or last episode, we expect to have some nice guests coming back on. I don't want to name drop. Maybe I do. I don't know. I think Fuse God might be coming on.
Oh, yeah?
Maybe Kid Chaos. Maybe a Psychic. Those are 3 guests that are planned to be coming in the near future. Look forward to it.
Wild.
I'm looking for the Psychic's going to be soon. That'll either be like next week or maybe 2 weeks from now. But yeah,
You think they'll tell our future?
we'll do it. We'll get like a little reading on the show. We'll ask them about like how they started and why. Like, when did you know that you had like the ability? And I also can't decide, like, if I'm being straight up, like, I'm trying to decide if I want to interview them in a way where it's like, I'll just ask a bunch of questions and I'll assume that kind of like I just kind of believe everything you're saying.
Yeah.
And I could go that route. I call that the Kanye Joe Rogan route. Because when Joe Rogan interviewed Kanye, he just didn't. Joe Rogan would like talk trash kind of about Kanye and like kind of say he was crazy. But then when he had Kanye on the show, he didn't do that at all. He was just like, "Oh yeah, you're a fucking super genius." Like, you know, like of course. But anyway, I'm debating if I want like to have the psychic on and be like just straight up like ask questions and, "Oh, I'm sure you're telling the truth. Oh, that's sweet," and then just do it that way. Or I could be asking the psychic questions in the form of like, can you try and convince me that like you're actually...
That's
like,
so hard, though. I mean, like...
You know what I mean? Though, like, should I come at it with like a little bit of doubt, or should I just assume that they're being truthful and then ask all the questions we want?
Well, we could ask past stuff.
Like, ask them questions that that would be hard for a non-psychic to answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. But that'll be a fun episode. Go check out ScheunemanBrand.com. Go
Get
like,
something nice.
comment, subscribe, get you something nice. We've got the Foundation collection out now. More things to come. And have you a nice day. And we love you.
As
love
always.
you.
Love, you.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Bow wow.
Ping pong.